So you said you're a New York City voter. Who are you thinking of supporting in this election?
Most likely Andrew Cuomo,
And why is that?
because I think of all the candidates, at least has government experience. He has actual policy platforms, and while I think we all may have issues with the way he left the governor's mansion, I still think he's, of the options we have, the best candidates to vote for.
And what do you think about Zohran Mamdani? It looks like he is likely going to win. He's leading in the polls.
Look, I've known Zoran for 10 years. I consider him a friend, but I also disagree with Zoran on just about every single policy position there is.
How do you know him?
A mutual friend. But I think Zoran's issue is a lack of experience and surrounding himself with people who have brought him further left than perhaps he really is. But as long as he's appearing that way, I'm not going to vote for him. So I like the guy. He's a nice person. I'll have dinner with him, but I'm not going to vote for him. That's my feelings on Zoran. He's nice guy, but a guy where I disagree with on literally every single issue, and it's not going to get my vote.
Great, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So I'm guessing you're voting for Mamdani?
Very funny. You know I'm not. Anybody but Mamdani.
Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. I don't believe that an Islamic communist should be mayor of New York City. This is a bastion of capitalism, number one. Number two, his views actually just forget about the fact that he's an Islamic communist. He has no experience in anything he's done. He basically wants free grocery stores, free clothes, free everything else. None of the policies actually can be implemented similar to AOC's economic views. I'm a trader and an economist, and what he is preaching actually cannot be done. They've tried it in San Francisco, they tried it in LA, they tried it in Portland. Every one of these policies has failed globally.
So you mentioned his religion. How do you think that would affect how the mayor would govern and actual policies? Like, do you see those things as separate? A lot of people have said, don't attack him based on his identity.
Yes.
What do you make of that? Including like Curtis Lewa has said, leave the attacks about, Zoran's religion out of this.
I've seen what happened in London, and we've seen what happens in other cities. Right now, New York is at a crucial point. London has fallen, no cliche intended. London has fallen. Jews, there's an attack in Manchester. Synagogues are getting attacked. The radicalization, his father is pro-Hamas, Mamdani. This is actually not, I don't... It's actually, there's interviews of him, he actually is pro-Hamas.
Like, what do you mean by pro-Hamas? Like,
he doesn't believe just in the fact the Palestinians have right to self-determination. He believes in terror. Mamdani himself, actually, this is the best point of all, made a rap song that is pro-Hamas. You guys can find it all over YouTube, and I don't do the conspiracy or AI thing. It's everywhere. It was supplementing the leaders of Hamas financially about 6 years ago. This is way before October 7th. And one of the guys lives in Qatar, and he made a whole entire rap song about him. This is the man that we can possibly elect here, sadly, as mayor.
Zohran Mamdani said that he would actually pledge 800% more funding toward combating hate crimes, including anti-Semitism. Does that, change your perception of him at all? What do you make of that policy promise that he's made?
If he pledges that, then that's fine, but I don't believe in political pledges. I believe in political action, and until anybody gets elected, this goes for Zoran or anybody else, there's no real truth to what is said.
So would you be voting for Cuomo instead?
Yes.
Or
I'll be voting for Cuomo instead, and I wish that the whole entire Jewish community, and not just the Jewish community, the city, were Democrats in the primary, and we all converted for a day. I'm an independent, I'm not a right-wing ultra anything, I'm not a left-wing ultra anything, and then we came back to center after the election. But in the primaries, that didn't happen, and now, according to Polymarket, we're at 85% Mamdani. And I really hope it doesn't. I hope it does not happen. Real estate people that I know in New York, from the real estate, stocks, this can I get a little crazy here? This can cause an actual collapse in the U.S. economy. And I'm going to tell you why. The banks haven't marked to market a lot of the real estate that's in New York. There's people here that are very into real estate. I'm talking about the biggest buildings that you've ever seen that the banks will have to mark to market because they're all going to move to Florida. If you lose your tax base in New York, who's going to pick up the garbage? Who's going to do the dirty work? And all of these guys are going to leave. These policies have to be corporate.
I'm only voting for Curtis. I see on YouTube all the time. I'm only voting for
This is a real interview. Hang on.
only Curtis.
Look at my
No
shirt.
Mamdani.
Wait,
So what do you
So
think
you
of
said-
Mamdani?
I see all the time on YouTube. I only vote for Curtis. Mamdani is the
Nick-
worst thing that would ever happen to this world.
what about Cuomo?
He's an anti-Semite.
Cuomo.
Cuomo?
Cuomo is an idiot. I don't like Cuomo. Cuomo is more left than
What?
Mamdani. Who did the cash?
No, but
The,
he's not an Islamist though.
who did the no cash bail? Who closed all the prisons?
wasn't-
Who released Cuomo? All this shit you see in the city now is because of Cuomo. Who gave us Katioko?
I'm going to
Cuomo.
respectfully disagree with my brother here and say that Mamdani would be much worse than Cuomo.
Mandami will be worse than Cuomo, but
Yes,
Cuomo is not good.
100%.
Curtis spent his entire life defending the city. Okay? Defending security, safety is Curtis. He's smart.
I agree 100%.
He's smart. He cares about the city. He loves the city. Cuomo is an opportunist.
The problem is that
Cuomo
Curtis-
cannot get a job anywhere else other
No.
than politics.
The
He was
problem
a
is that
terrible
Curtis
governor.
doesn't have there's no chance right now because
Yes,
New
he
York
does.
are Republican. I wish. I wish you were right. No, but let's be in reality, okay? I go according to what people are betting on as the trader, right?
Yes.
Cuomo, okay? Mamdani, 85% of poly market. Cuomo, 9%. Curtis is less than 1%. Those are real. There's about $100 million in contracts that are trading on this, okay, weekly. I'm going to go by what the market's telling me and saying that Curtis, unfortunately, I love the guy. I've been watching him for 25 years. I was a kid. I used to watch him like on the subways. He would protect people. But unfortunately, he doesn't have a chance right now.
Yes. Curtis is an amazing.
So Curtis would be your first choice.
Why do you always interview people that like Mandami?
Well, just because a lot of people happen to like Mamdani, so I just kind of reflect.
One person
I mean,
ever
it's-
said Curtis.
That's not true,
Who are you
actually.
with? Who? What network are you with?
I have a YouTube channel. I interview people about New York City politics. And actually, so it was interesting. Before the primary, I honestly didn't know who was going to win, Cuomo or Mamdani. And then I went to Brooklyn. And it was just one part of Brooklyn, granted. But every single person who told me they had a plan to vote, they said that they were voting for Mamdani. And they had like the ranking system down. And then I was like, okay, Mamdani's going to win. And so I kind of just survey what's going on. I don't pick selectively.
So,
I just kind
next
of
time
reflect
somebody-
what
What's
people
your
are
channel
saying.
called?
Clickbait Wasteland.
Okay.
She's amazing.
Okay.
She's really, really good.
I
I love
didn't
her.
even know that, so now I know. Okay, but the last thing I'll say about him is that if you do get elected, please implement policies that make economic sense. Socialism is going to give you last little words of wisdom. Has never worked in one country, in one place in the world, except a kibbutz in Israel, maybe in the beginning of the formation of the state, and then even it didn't work because people want to make more money, and there is inherent capitalism in us. We're in the New York Stock Exchange was born here. The New York Mercantile Exchange, sugar, orange juice, wheat, corn, everything was traded here.
capital
The
center of the
capitalist center of the
world.
world. We cannot, under any circumstances, have a socialist mayor.
He knows that the Jews don't like him. He knows that Israel doesn't.
There are a lot of Jews. If you look at polls, though, there are a lot of Jews who support
Something's wrong.
Mamdani. What do you make of that? I'm just saying, like, if you look at
I think that
polling.
I think that the polls, something doesn't make sense, in my opinion, anymore in the polls. Every Jew at this point, right? So I come from a family that actually is unfortunately half left and half right wing, okay? Even my right wing, well, the right wing half, of course, doesn't. The left wing, Mamdani's a non starter. The polls, something is wrong with the polls at this point. That's why this poly market is better than the polls, because the polls have, a lot of them have bias. There's no bias in the markets. The markets trade. And I would bet you, if they had poly market, a poll on poly market, did you vote for Mamdani? Are you Jewish? Are you going to vote for Mamdani? Are you Jewish? It would be less. And I don't know why the polls look like that. It doesn't make sense to us, though. All these people here are Jews. I'm going to say maybe 10% Mamdani. The polls are coming, what, 40? You know better than me, 40%? 45%?
I forget the exact polling, but it was looking like he was leading among Jewish voters, which is kind of an interesting stat.
Every time I see a Jew that you interview, especially that girl that came from Canada, she was interviewing this Canadian girl. I'm Jewish and I love Mandami. I cannot vote, but if I could vote, I would vote for Mandami. I'm like, You Canadian. What the hell do you know?
It could also be a generational divide. Like, what do you make of that?
It's an anti-Trump vote too, as well, right? Because that is an anti-Trump vote. So if you're a Jew that's more left wing, and Trump is coming out saying things about Mamdani, you're going to vote for Mamdani.
I guess like you could say like more mainstream Democrats though are also, against Trump, or like Cuomo, and then also like Curtis Lewa even has a bit of like a weird contentious relationship with Trump. So I mean that's just New York City, I guess. Yeah.
If you think about it for a second, it's really funny. They're voting for Mamdani because they're saying that everything is so expensive. Who's been running the city for the last 12 years? Democrats.
Correct.
De Blasio 8 years. Adams got 4 years. Okay, we didn't have Bloomberg in a long time. So they're voting for the same people that they have now and expecting different results. You're voting for another de Blasio. So why you vote for de Blasio and expect Giuliani results?
And the question we have for your viewers is where does the money come from to subsidize the things he wants to do when everybody leaves? And let's just say everyone doesn't leave hypothetically, but
I mean, New York's always going to be New York, but I get there was that.
There's the real estate people that are in New York are not joking right now, and the markets aren't joking. And this could cause a financial crisis. I'm telling you that right now, with real estate mark to market going Mamdani's way, it can cause a big. Last example, you have the price of gold in the last month, $4,000 an ounce. Bitcoin also. The amount of flight to quality because of this election alone. Again, I've been trading since I was 16 years old, gold. I've never seen anything like this, and the underlying current is the New York City election, and that is first and foremost in the market's minds, even though stocks are going up. I know it's tangential, but...
Cool. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And also, one more thing I want to say is, as far as safety, he wants Mamdani. He wants to spend $100 million on attorneys for illegal immigrants, people that broke the law to come into this country illegally. He wants to spend $100 million on attorneys. Who's paying for that? Where's the money coming from? Trump said he's not giving them a penny. Where's the money coming from? He's going to tax everybody through the eyeballs, all to pay for illegals. It's not for America, it's for everybody else. It's not for New Yorkers, it's for everybody else. The guy just got his citizenship 5 minutes ago. Been in the city for 3 years. How can he defeat Curtis that spent his entire life defending this city? How can people vote for that and not vote for Curtis? It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. And that's all I have to say. Go Curtis.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Megan. I saw you're getting ready to jump in there. What's your name?
Sophie Sassoon.
Nice to meet you, and you're a New York City voter.
I am indeed, yes.
Can you tell me who you're supporting in this election?
So it's a bitter pill to swallow because I happen to support Curtis, but at the end of the day, as a Jewish person, unfortunately, we have to be very strategic in who we vote for. So I may reluctantly vote for Cuomo, and I may be a last-minute voter because it's going to be very difficult to understand who we need to place that pivotal vote with, as long as it's not Mamdani. So we're really between a rock and a hard place.
And can you tell me why you have concerns about Mamdani and why you would be voting for Cuomo?
So I'll vote for anyone that's not Mamdani, and I will place the vote on whoever I think will win. Here's the problem. We're in the financial capital of the world. And we've got, I don't like calling him a socialist because I actually believe he's a wolf in sheep's clothing, and he is an Islamist who is running on socialist policies, which makes it even more concerning for me. He's a brain drain. You're going to see an exodus of influential, hardworking people who are going to leave this city for multiple reasons, because they're not going to be rewarded for the hard work they do. You're going to see crime go through the roof. He wants to defund the police. This is an entitlement policy of lazy people who want to take, and the whole fabric of New York was the American dream. This is part of the American dream that I came here to, and I didn't come here to see this turn into a third world country.
So do you think that his religion would have any impact on how he is governing? You mentioned that you don't want New York City to become an Islamist.
Right, so let me clarify. I don't like people talking about religion, but there's a big difference between being a good religious person and then espousing Islamic ideology and supporting Hamas terrorists and a Hamas ideology. So when people call out people like me for calling him a Muslim. I actually don't care what religion a person is. But if you're a Muslim who praises Hamas terrorists.
When did he praise Hamas terrorists?
Oh, he's done it many times. He may not have praised them, but let me tell you what he hasn't done. He has never, ever condoned Hamas terrorists, and I'm speaking to you on the 7th of October. He has never condoned the slaughter of Jews, women and children being slaughtered. He doesn't recognize the Jewish state. So here's my question to New Yorkers. While you don't care about what he represents against Jewish people, you may want to care about what he represents on a morality front. Because if you can't condone...
Or do you mean condemn?
Condemn, sorry. If you can't condemn an Islamic terrorist entity like Hamas, and then you can't recognize the Jewish state, what is he going to do for the Christians in this city? What is he going to do?
So in terms of I think you're referring to like the globalize the Intifada statement that he, I guess, refused to
No,
condemn.
it's not even that. That's just a part of it. That's one aspect of it. He won't recognize the Jewish state.
Like, you don't think he believes that Israel...
I'm telling you, he has not and will not recognize Israel as a Jewish state, the only democracy in the Middle East. So I don't want to...
No, I'm just curious, like, what would that look like to you? Like, would it be like a formal declaration in terms of like the policies of New York City mayor?
Do you recognize the Jewish state of Israel? He would not answer the question. So the journalist needs to ask him, not me. But this is not about Jews in Israel. I want to be clear. I am a proud American citizen who happens to be Jewish, but I happen to love this city. This is not a Jewish issue. We don't want a mayor who wants to defund the police, who won't call out Islamic terrorism when he needs to. So it's the equivalent of having a mayor running on September the 11th and not condemning Al Qaeda and the Twin Towers. You can't have that. That's nonsensical. So I don't want to apply this to Jewish. You've got to have common sense.
What would you ideally like to see the mayor do, like in terms of actual things that like the mayor can do in the city to kind of like assuage some of those concerns? What actual policies would you like to see the mayor enact? Because he's not like a
Him or all mayors?
All mayors, I guess, including him.
I think it's very simple. Well, for him, I don't have any hope because I really believe he is a mayor who hates this city and hates this country. So what I would like to see is a mayor who loves America, who embraces our democracy, who doesn't want to change the fabric of this country, who supports strong police, tough on crime, make people want to work, make people be rewarded for their hard work, and not reward people who do nothing. You can't do that to the most important financial hub of the world. It's breaking up the fabric of this great city.
So for you, is it mostly like economic concerns, you would say? Or?
No, I think economic and safety go hand in hand. So if you have a breakdown in a prosperous economic New York, and you're going to dole out money to people who aren't worked, you're incentivizing people not to work, crime's going to go through the roof. The people who do work hard are going to leave and go to places like Florida and other states. I mean, it's just going to happen. It's already happened during COVID. And then you're going to couple that with economic hardship, entitlement, raising taxes, businesses closing because they're not going to be able to pay the minimum wage, and then you're going to have crime, which is going to be exacerbated by the fact that you're defunding the police. So all of it's nonsensical. This is like an airy-fairy, oompa-loompa policy that has no bearing in reality, and it can't be sustained.
Cool. Thank you. So is there anything else you'd like to add? Or
I know, I think I said enough.
Okay,
thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Recording? I'm Megan, by the way. What's your name?
Allison.
Hey, Allison. Nice to meet you. Who will you be voting for in the New York City election? Sorry.
Cuomo.
Can you tell me your thought process behind that?
I think he's the only one that can beat Mamdani. I am a conservative Trump supporter. I worked on Curtis Sliwa's campaign 4 years ago. And with the current climate, I think he's the only one that can beat him. And I feel like New York City can live with 4 years of Cuomo, but we can't live with 4 years of Mamdani.
What are your concerns if Mamdani were to be elected, which it looks like he probably will be? What do you think like New York City would look like in the future?
London. And I also feel like as and very openly proud Zionist Jew, we will not have the same police presence at our protests, at our rallies, at our synagogues, because those are the things he can actually affect with his defunding the police. And as if I don't know if you saw how everything looked a few days ago for Yom Kippur, there was armed security outside every synagogue, and I'm afraid that's not going to happen, and we will be sitting ducks.
Mamdani has pledged that he would allocate 800% more hate crime funding in the budget. A lot of that included to combat anti-Semitism and hate crimes. Does that change your mind at all? I mean, I don't know. That's a policy he's promised.
I don't believe that because, one, doesn't matter who the politician is, they all lie when they're running for an election. And I feel like his policies will not be for the Jewish community. I don't think he stands with us. I just have to see what he said on October 7th 2 years ago. And what he says right now is just politics.
What did you think of Eric Adams as mayor?
Shockingly, I did not hate him. I obviously, like I said, I voted for Curtis the last time. I worked on Curtis's campaign. And post October 7th, I think he really did have his heart behind the Jewish community. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to protect us the way he wanted, but I don't think it was for anti-Semitism. I think it's because he was fighting the city council and a lot of elected officials who don't like us. But he surprised me, and I heard him speak many times. I actually met him once or twice, and I think he was genuinely a fan of our community and stood with us.
What kind of policies would you like to see the mayor implement to support the Jewish community? What are some things that come to mind that you would like to see as a voter?
Not even so much the Jewish community. The cashless bail has to go. I think when we were growing up, I grew up in New York. I've lived here my entire life. I've lived in New York City for 30 years. So I was through Bloomberg, Giuliani, de Blasio, Adams, and now whoever is next. And when there's some sort of a fear that there's going to be a consequence to your actions, people don't do some of the things that they do. But if you know you can punch somebody in the face and you're not going to go to jail, you're going to be released within 2 hours, what's stopping you? And those policies, they affect everybody, and they affect our community, which has the highest climb in hate crimes is towards the Jewish community. So if we're going to do something, we need to make sure it's not just for us, it's for everybody. And I think that fear of going to jail, going to prison, having strict, hate, not even just hate crime laws, just assault, violence laws. I'm not talking about stealing up, a loaf of bread like Les Miserables, but if you're violent towards somebody, there's going to be consequences. You're going to go to jail, Jewish or non.
Cool. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah.
So are you trying to call on Sliwa to drop out, considering that you
Yes.
worked for him last time?
I would love it if Curtis would drop out, and that's what I got attacked for online because I do like him. I think he's done an amazing job for the city for so many years, and I truly believe in the guardian angels. But right now, we have an existential threat. And you know what?
His motive is for running at this juncture, seeing as he's probably not going to win.
He's not going to win. Look, the problem is, the biggest thing is that Republicans, like myself, will switch parties for the greater good. I don't see Democrats doing that, except for Bloomberg, and Bloomberg was a moderate, middle of the road. Someone who's as conservative as Sliwa has no shot in New York City. We saw that the last time. And I don't know why he's staying in it. I don't know if it's his ego. I don't know if he thinks it's making him more famous, all things that I don't care about. And I just really wish he would fall on his sword and say, you know what, this is New York City, this is my home, I love it, we need to do what's best and stop this guy.
And do you think it's ironic that you as a Trump supporter, Trump voter, conservative Republican, now find yourself in a position where you have to vote for Andrew Cuomo?
You have
one of your arch nemesis.
You have no idea, if you saw my post from a few years ago, what I felt about Cuomo. So the fact that I made a turn fully shows that you can put city above party and really above a lot of my values. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mamdani. I mean, a lot of his agenda I don't like.
Like what specifically?
Well, he's crime, education, economics, things like that.
Are there any specific things that he said or policies that come to mind?
Well, what he said he's going to do about GNT, his economic approaches to taxation, to things he said in the past about how he's going to persecute like a crime that he doesn't deem violent, things like that.
Okay. And so, what are your concerns about Cuomo? You said he wouldn't be your top choice.
I mean, he is probably a corrupt politician. I mean, he's so it's a so the choice between Mamdani and Cuomo is yes, it's like I'm choosing a part of a corrupt machine, and this is known, versus changes that I'm completely unhappy with if Mamdani wins. Right. So it's just like I know many voters like looking forward for change. Many's choice is driven by the costs that they can bear, and they hope that he's going to bring down. And I understand that. I mean, I have a daughter in her 20s who is facing these issues right now. It's just started her adult life. I don't think anything Mamdani does is going to change this, because he's a bit delusional and a bit rough about what he wants to do. And that's why, I mean, I'll vote for Cuomo, and we'll hope we'll have somebody better. We'll have somebody like of Bloomberg caliber in the next 5 years. I mean, I voted for Bloomberg in a presidential election, but he didn't get anywhere. I wrote in Nikki Haley in this presidential election. So
Did you end up voting for Trump?
no, I wrote in Nikki Haley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I literally did that.
Okay.
Yeah, I literally did that. I'm a registered Democrat. I voted in the primaries. I voted for Cuomo in the primaries. So, because that you can't otherwise. I mean, otherwise, like the Republicans get guys like Sliva. I don't know. So that's where I stand.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.